Sentinel with Sergeant Sentinel Gaming. Now today I want to do something a little different. It's just a chill live stream. I'm playing Balatro on my PlayStation 5, and I wanted to live stream, especially since it's the Army's birthday. I was in the Army for almost a decade, and I wanted to do something kind of to commemorate that. I just don't have any Call of Duty games installed on my PlayStation 5, so I figured, you know what? I'll just play Balatro because it's a game that I enjoy, and it'll be a chill live stream. Just an hour a week where we can just chill and relax, and it'll be a fun time. So if you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe. Check out the other live streams I have. Check out my, check out the videos that I upload regularly. I have been doing a lot of more short content, but here in the near future, I do plan on doing longer content. Mr. Bushido, what's up? Thanks for checking out the live stream. Also, I do have a channel, TikTok, where I upload more short content, so definitely check that out as well. No, I'm on PS5 right now. I might get a gaming PC next generation just because of the huge mess that the console space is going to be in by next generation, and because I kind of think Cult Classic Cage is right in that regard, because it feels like it feels like console gaming is kind of running out of road, so to speak. I do live stream a lot more on PlayStation than I do on Xbox, just because I don't really like the Twitch platform. It seems like Twitch is such a mess, and if you're not already very well established, there's not really a lot of room for growth there, So, and all my stuff is on YouTube anyway, so I usually just live stream on YouTube. I did live stream last night on Xbox, playing something, I don't remember what it was. But a lot of times the only way I live stream really on Twitch anymore is if I'm playing something on Xbox and I want to live stream, because I can't do it on YouTube. So in that instance, I'll live stream on Twitch. But YouTube, like I said, most of my content is here, so that's where I prefer to live stream at. I do have this on Game Pass, obviously, because it's on Xbox. And it's great that I was able to play this through Game Pass. But then when I saw it was on sale on PlayStation, I said I definitely have to pick it up. Especially since it's like with PlayStation, it's a lot easier because with PlayStation, they let you download PS4 and PS5, but on Xbox, it's not as clear cut. Sorry, I had a couple of cats fighting in the background. With PlayStation, whenever you buy a game where they offer the PS4 and PS5 version, they say, hey, which one do you want to download? It's a lot more simple than Xbox. I remember there's a way to do it where you can download the Xbox One and the Xbox Series version, but it's not as clear-cut as PlayStation. And I think Xbox could definitely improve it in that regard. Yeah, I could definitely skip that because I've played Balatro probably for a couple hundred hours already, so I pretty much know what I'm doing. It's just when you first start out, it's hard because you don't have a lot of the jokers unlocked, and you have to basically work your way back through the game and unlock a lot of this stuff. It's a lot of times it's easier to make straights, but I really try to stay away from that because then when you get there's a card that you can purchase in store, the telescope card, that basically says, hey, the card or the hand that you play the most will always be in the planet cards, and I hate the straights because it's like you need 5 in a row. It's a lot easier to make something like 2 pairs or 3 of a kind, so I always try, whenever I'm first starting out a level, I really try to stick with the pairs if I can. 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 of a kind, because it's easier to make those in the hand, especially when it takes away all your discards. When I first started playing this, I never bought any of the planetary cards. I wasn't about that, and I didn't really understand how it has to be a good balance between the jokers and the planet cards, because, the planet cards, obviously, they're multipliers, but just with the planet cards alone, if you don't have a good lineup of jokers, it's not going to matter. You basically need both of them in order to succeed. I know there's been a couple of hands where it had the final boss had like 300,000 score you had to beat, and I was able to do it, but again, that's because I leveled up my planet cards tremendously and I had a great lineup of jokers, which when you first start out in Balatro, you have to unlock all these good jokers that you'll have later on. They don't give them to you from the start, so even if you're going through the store and re-rolling to have different cards available to purchase in there, it's not going to have these great jokers that you can buy, like the one that saves you in case you fail one of the big bosses. A lot of times when you first start out, you run into this issue where neither one of these jokers is really good, and it kind of sucks. Full House isn't bad. It's a good go-between, between like the flushes and straights and the pairs, just because you have you have one pair and then you have three of a kind and you put them together, you got the full house. So it's a lot easier to make a full house whenever everything's kind of crazy. When, basically when the big boss has a stipulation that is kind of nerfing your jokers or doing away with your discards or discarding 2 random cards per hand that you play, a full house is a lot easier to pull off than like a flush or a straight. Also, when I first started, I was playing all of the blinds, small blind, big blind, and then the boss blind. But I learned that it actually makes a lot more sense to skip the 2 smaller ones and just play the bosses. If the reward for skipping the blind makes sense. Now, it may say, the next reroll or the reroll in the next shop is going to be $0. A lot of times that just doesn't make sense. So it's better if they're providing you money. To play that small blind, just to play the small blind to get that money. Because like right now I'm playing for the white chip. When you play for the red chip, it takes away any money for the small blind. So even if it doesn't really reward you for skipping it, you just skip it because it's not paying you any money to play that particular blind. A lot of times, even if I'm not going to be using a particular, like I'm not going to really be using the straight too much, if I get the card, I'm still going to be using it, just to upgrade it, just in case. Apologies, it's always a madhouse in my house, so a lot of times that can be distracting. One thing I found about whenever certain cards are debuffed, if the multiplier is high enough, you don't even need any of those cards to score anything. The multiplier by itself will award enough points. It'll award enough points for you to be able to meet the round score that you need to meet in order to pass it. One of the most valuable spectral cards that you can come across is the Black Hole Spectral card, because if there's a voucher that you can buy in the store later on as you unlock different vouchers and stuff, that it will put spectral cards in like the Celestial packs and in the Buffoon packs that are the Joker packs. And the Black Hole card actually upgrades every single, two of a kind, or basically like the 2 pairs, 3 of a kind, full house, straight, flush. It upgrades all of those one entire level, so you don't have to have a planetary card for each one of those. The Black Hole card itself will upgrade every single hand that you could possibly play one level, which is extremely, helpful whenever you're dealing with limited resources, and a lot of these packs don't necessarily have everything that you might need. It may seem like with the three that I just duplicated twice, it may seem like the three isn't really that significant because it's not as big as like an ace or a king, but it's that multiplier that's important, because when you have 4 cards or 5 cards and they're all added up and you're throwing that multiplier into it, essentially that 4 is multiplying times all those cards. Plus there's other cards, other jokers that you can get that will basically add additional chips or additional multipliers for like face cards or aces. So having that 3 with the 4 times, or is a 4 plus multiplier, helps out a hell of a lot. So whenever you see those types of cards, if you don't have cards that have like a times 2 multiplier, a lot of times those are the best cards you can get, because that 4 times multiplier is extremely helpful, especially in later stages. So foil basically gives you additional chips for a card. Now this one is fine. I mean, it's essentially 60, but if you have something that is going to offer you a multiplier times face cards, this one would basically, like, it basically has a yellow happy face, and it's one of the jokers you can get, and it adds a 5 plus multiplier to all face cards. So if I pick this queen, where it's going to trigger it one time, what that means is that I'll get the 5 plus multiplier, and then it'll re-trigger it, and I'll get it again. So in instances like that, it's really helpful. So as you can see, the full house is tremendously upgraded. It's 140 times 12. That's not including any of the cards that I might play. And the limit for this round is 4,000 chips. So it's not a stretch to say that I could make a full house with all cards that are debuffed and still knock out a sizable amount of the chips that I need to pass this level. Anyway, I hope everyone is having a great weekend this weekend. I know a lot of stuff going on, especially since it is the Army's birthday. If you were a military veteran, obviously, you're probably at least an Army veteran. At least you're celebrating it. But for everyone else, like I said, I hope you're having a really good weekend this weekend because it is nice outside. So, definitely go out and celebrate with your family, for the weekend. But as always, be cautious because we know a lot of stuff's going on in the world, and you got to really keep your eyes open because you never know when some people that don't have their priorities straight are going to be out causing trouble. So always keep your eyes open. These I'm very cautious of re-rolling the boss blind because I've had a number of times where it's re-rolled the boss blind and made it worse, where it decreases the level of playing hand. So if I have leveled up cards for two of a kind, it'll drop the level down, which you're losing money, and essentially you're losing time if you think about it, because you only have a certain amount of time to level them back up before you get into ante 7 out of 8, ante 8 out of 8, where it's really difficult to pass. So a lot of times when I see this, especially with the white chips, I'll skip it. Now the red chips, I'll say, whatever. I'll just skip it because there's no reward money wise. But with the white chips, it's still an easier difficulty. It's basically normal difficulty. So I play it even though there's not much of a reward, just because I really don't want to tamper with it. And because all club cards are debuffed is not a bad boss blind ability. That's not bad. I can work around that. But if it's decreasing the level of poker hand or it's taking away all my discards, that makes it more difficult. So I try to avoid messing with it if I can. Also, a lot of times whenever I play two pairs, I will take a card that I want out of my hand and put it in there as well. I know it's not going to be counted, but it basically allows me to discard the card without it being held against me. The Fool card actually changes. Right now, it will duplicate the straight level up card. But if I beat this round and I go to the shop and I use another planetary card or I use another Terra card, it will change what it's going to duplicate. It only duplicates your last used one, so keep that in mind. It's not going to be locked into one specific card. It depends on what you used right before you're going to use it. Yeah, I actually had Umbra invite me on one of his episodes, and I was like, I can't right now. My back's kind of in shambles, Yeah, I have something that I've been dealing with over the past couple of years. Kind of took me completely out of the podcasting game the past year or so. Is I have muscle atrophy in my lower back, so it's like I have like 30% of the muscle I'm supposed to have, so it makes pretty much everything extremely difficult. It's basically like as if I was laying in a hospital bed for a couple of years. So I have to rebuild my muscles from the ground up. So I'm in physical therapy regularly, and it's extremely challenging just because I have to build the muscles as if I haven't used them in a long time. So it makes sitting in computer chairs and other other chairs like that extremely difficult. That's why I kind of dipped out of the podcasting thing. I definitely want to get back to it, though. I definitely do. So I appreciate the invitation. And as soon as I can get back into it, I'm definitely, I'll hit you up and I'll say, hey, you know what? I'm ready to get back into it. I'll do the same with Umber too, because I know he's asked me a couple times, and I really appreciate that. People remembering me and wanting me on their show. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. This one is great if you have a ton of money, but if you don't, it doesn't make much sense because it costs me $3 to buy it, and it's only going to give me $4 now. So what I might do is I'm going to buy it, but I'm going to hold on to it. Then when I have like 20 bucks, 25, 30, whatever, as long as it's over 20, I'll use it because it only doubles your money up to 20. So under 20, it's not going to give you the full 20. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to have enough for that one. But again, it's hard when a lot of these jokers aren't unlocked yet. See, now I'm unlocking jokers, but it's because I just started on PS5, so it's still extremely new. Once I unlock a lot of these jokers, it'll get easier. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for checking out my live stream. I appreciate it. Yeah, I have the PS4 version of Balatro on my PS5 also, and I've been working my way through the red chips for all the decks. So I've made my way through maybe about a third of them. It is difficult though; it's a lot harder. But yeah, I just started the PS5 version today, so I'm still working my way through the white chips right now. I don't think I've beaten one of them yet because I just started with this live stream. But yeah, I beat some of the red chips on the PS4 version. I beat some on Xbox, but it's definitely challenging. And I know there's additional difficulties after that. I can only imagine how difficult they're going to be. That ability to reroll the boss blind, yeah, it costs you $10, but that's so valuable in this game because the boss blind will rip the rug right out from under you. Like, no bullshit. It's hard when you first start out because you kind of have to figure out whether you're going to prioritize making money or making points. You know, getting more chips. Usually I'm trying for 2 pairs because it's like the easiest one to make, where you can really rack up the chips. I've actually beat most of the decks using a 2-pair build, just because it's the easiest. But I have beat some of them using some of the harder to get builds, like straight flush. I think I beat one with a full house. So this time I'll probably try for 2-pair, but it just depends on whether I can, upgrade the 2 pairs card enough to where it's gonna allow me to beat this one. A lot of times, if I can't upgrade the 2 pairs, I do 3 of a kind. Yeah, I know this game is really addictive. Geez, I probably put in a couple hundred hours on Xbox already, and probably half as much on PlayStation, because I just bought this game on sale like last week. So yeah, it's definitely addictive. It's kind of like how Vampire Survivors was so insanely addictive, and I was playing that like 95% of the time for 3 months. This is the same way, and it's not relying on super insane graphics or gameplay or any of the other high dollar stuff. It simply has an engaging gameplay loop that has people coming back. And I think that's what a lot of these companies, the big companies, just struggle to realize, because it's games like this that will have people engaged and playing them for months. And you have big budget games that they don't have that. People will play them for like a week and they'll drop them. So until these big gaming companies figure that out and start really making games like this that people enjoy playing, they're not going to find the success they want or need, you know? Vampire Survivors is basically a game where you play as a number of different characters, and you don't really... It's not like you have to press action buttons. They will perform certain attacks around them, and the enemies will swarm. Basically, you'll move your character around, and they'll automatically perform the attacks. You won't really have to do anything, and you unlock different types of attacks and stuff like that. If you haven't played Vampire Survivors, I would definitely check it out. It seems pretty simple at first with the lower levels, but as you get swarmed by tougher enemies, and trust me, there's like hundreds of them, it will get tremendously challenging. But I think you'll enjoy Vampire Survivors also. Definitely check it out. The hardest part about the Joker lineup is when you don't have any negative Jokers. What I mean by that is like a negative image of the Joker. It'll be like all the colors are inverted, and it'll allow you to open up an additional Joker slot. So when you only have 5 out of 5, it's hard because you'll come across some Jokers that you're like, wow, it has like a 3 times multiplier, and I could really use this in my lineup. But there's just so many other good cards in your lineup that you can't really sacrifice any of them to get this Joker. That's one of the difficult parts. You have to prioritize which Jokers you're going to keep and which ones you're going to throw away, because some of them you want to have them. Like the one that duplicates the abilities of the Joker to its right. When you unlock that card is crazy if you get it hooked up to something that has like a 15 or 20 multiplier, because it'll also have a 15 or 20 multiplier. It's duplicating the abilities of the Joker to its right. So you want to have that card, but you don't unlock it until later in the game. I probably won't even unlock it during this hand, because it's one of those Jokers you have to unlock, and they don't give it to you until after the hand is done, unfortunately. See, this essentially has the negative, where it allows 1 Joker slot. This one is kind of it's a nice card to have the negative, because when it goes away because it's run its course, the Joker slot that you're losing is the one that this was occupying. So it's a no-brainer if you can afford it. I would say my favorite Joker is the one that bases its multiplier off of the value of all the other jokers you have. If you have that joker along with the egg joker and you play every single hand, and the egg joker will essentially gain $3 per hand that you play, you'll have like a 25 or 30 multiplier, which is crazy. The glitchy, when you mean the misprint, that one's pretty good. Sometimes, though, I've really needed it to hook me up, and it gave me a 0 multiplier. So it pays off sometimes. Other times it doesn't, and it's kind of aggravating. But it is good when it's giving you like a 15 multiplier out of nowhere. That definitely helps. A lot of the times the way I play is I'll go halfway through the hands. If I have decent hands, I'll go halfway through the amount of hands that I have to see how close I can get to the amount of chips that I need to beat the level before I touch any of the discards. I don't touch the discards unless I absolutely have to, because if I can't get halfway there and I'm like, I need better cards, those discards are going to be invaluable, and you're definitely going to need them to get rid of the garbage cards to get kings or tens or whatever you're going to need to have the higher paying rounds. So I try to hold on to those as long as I can for the most part, unless I have a joker that says, hey, I'll give you a 15 times or a 15 plus multiplier if you have no discards remaining, which there is one of those, but I think you have to unlock that as well. This one is one of the best jokers you can get, just so you know, because if you have like 4 hearts in your hand, whatever the multiplier is, it won't add to that. It'll multiply times that. So let's say it's 10. You have like 150 times 10. That 10 will become a 15. Then it multiplies again. Then it multiplies again. It's not adding to the multiplier. It's multiplying times the multiplier. So this card is definitely worth checking out. It's worth having in your hand if you come across it. Now this one, I have $46. I don't really need to earn $3 again by discarding a single card. So that's going away, and then I'm going to put this in my hand because it's definitely going to pay for itself probably after the first round that I use it. As much as I want to accept this one, there's been a number of times that I've lost, that I've had tons of money, and there just wasn't enough multipliers in the deck. So if I don't really need the money, a lot of times I'll choose this, just because you're going to need that 4 times multiplier or 4 plus multiplier when things really get tight. Also, because I have this card and it says suit changes at the end of the round. But the next round that I'm going to have is going to be, the heart. We'll give it 1.5 times multiplier. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go with 2 different heart cards in this deck right now, and I'm going to assign it a multiplier. So in addition to getting the 1.5 times, it'll have a +4 multiplier attached to those heart cards as well. Now, as much as I want to play this card that's face down, I don't really know what it is, and I need to make sure if it's a jack or if it's a numbered card. And it's not that face cards are face down. It's just 1 in 7 cards gets face down, so I really need to discard it. Now, the flush is one of my hands that's upgraded a little bit, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to convert those to hearts. Again, because it's going to put that 1.5 times multiplier on those heart cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go up here, and I'm going to use this card once I select 3 specific cards. And yes, I don't have enough to have a flush. I only have enough to really have 2 pairs, but that's actually perfect because I'm trying to get the AI to realize that I use 2 pairs enough. So when I unlock the telescopic card in the shop, it will basically put that 2 pairs upgrade card in all of the planetary card packs that are available. Two pairs. The more I use that, the more the AI will be like, oh, that's the one tied to the telescopic upgrade. Now, this probably should knock it out of the park. I don't see there being any issues with me hitting that, hitting the necessary 10,000. This should probably do it. And if it doesn't, it'll come close. I guess not. Oh, I forgot about the 3. Damn it! I should have got rid of the 3. If I would have gotten rid of the 3, it probably would have given me a bigger multiplier. Yeah, that's what it was, because I was thinking it was going to multiply it times a bigger number, but it didn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these, and hopefully it will give me bigger cards. I really need that bottom number to be higher. Kind of a thing you have to balance it out, because like when you have the fist card, you know, it multiplies it. It basically gives you a 2 times multiplier, times your lowest card in the hand, which if you don't gauge it right, it can really screw things up. So in this specific instance, it's a little challenging, but because I have this 4 times multiplier, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all these cards. And yes, it's only a high card, but what that's going to do is it's a 4 times multiplier, then it's 1.5, then it multiplies it times all the other stuff. And it should bring it up pretty decent, where I'm pretty close. Yep, I'm pretty close to hitting the 10,000. So with these two, I'll do it because of the heart multiplier. It could have been better, but at least I passed the round. And I have not unlocked Mr. Bones yet. Now, Mr. Bones is a Joker. It's basically a Joker that's a skeleton that if you fail to hit the minimum score for the round, that Joker basically disappears, but you pass the round. So it's kind of like a get out of jail free card, except it's get out of failure free, I guess. But it's one of those other cards you have to unlock. I really wish I had it, because that card is absolutely worth it when you have a boss that has a huge blind that you can't get anywhere near. I haven't bought the telescope upgrade yet, so it's not putting the 2-pair card in there, unfortunately. A lot of times what I'll do is, if I have cards up here, when I'm going to buy a tarot card, I will actually use that opportunity to use these cards up here to upgrade as well, just so I can get rid of them. Because like down here, it will create 2 random planet cards, but I only have space for 2. So if I hit this without taking care of what's up there already, it's only going to give me 1 planet card, which sucks, obviously. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here, enhance those 2 to bonus cards, and then once I do that, now I have 2 spaces open, and I can go back down here and create 2 planet cards. Even though I don't really use the straight flush much, I have had a couple of hands where I had upgraded it just because I got the card free, and it actually helped out a lot and was able to ensure that I won against not just big bosses, but the super high boss, I guess. You know, to be honest, I'm into all kinds of games. Well, I can't say I'm into every type of game. I mean, there's types of games that I'm definitely not into. But, you know, I'm into, like, games like this, games like Vampire Survivors, that they don't really require as much, you know, quick action reflexes as stuff like Call of Duty. Yeah, I've played Call of Duty and Battlefield before a lot, but I think I'm at the point where I'm just not a fan of the aggressive multiplayer anymore. I might play it initially when it first comes out, but I'm just not on the level that I used to be. So, you know, whenever I was a teenager, whenever I was in college, you know, I loved multiplayer back then. Hell, even when I was in the army in my 20s, a lot of the multiplayer like Halo and stuff like that, I was all about it. You know, I loved it, and I loved the competition and how aggressive and how in your face it was. But anymore, I don't play those types of experiences. I'll still play first-person shooters and stuff like that. But, you know, there's genres that I'm not a fan of, like JRPGs. They're great. I think they're phenomenal. They have wonderful stories. They just don't resonate with me, so I never play them. Any game that falls under the Soulsborne genre, I don't even mess with it because I have too much other stuff going on in my life. I don't have time to play a game for hours and hours to get good, just to keep from dying 2,000 times, so I just don't even touch them. You know, as far as games that I'm into first-person shooters. I'm into racing games, not racing sims, more like racing arcade games. I like open-world games, especially Grand Theft Auto type games, but unfortunately, in 2025, there's almost none of those games around anymore. I did play Cyberpunk. I'm not really as much of a fan of the whole Cyberpunk thing, but I really enjoyed Cyberpunk 2077 a lot. I played that a hell of a lot whenever I had it, you know, so I'm a fan of action games. Yeah, a lot of Western stuff, but I respect the effort that goes into a lot of games made by Japanese developers. Even if I don't like them, I still respect how much talent and passion they have for gaming, you know? So even though I don't enjoy those games, I'm not the type of person that says, oh, we don't need those in gaming, because I think we do, you know? Like I said, JRPG and stuff like that. We need those in gaming. It's not for me, you know? This is a little hard because there's some cards that I probably could hold on to. You know, and like this, the multiplier 1.5, I'm looking at the 2 and I'm like, oh, I don't want to get rid of it. But it just doesn't make sense to keep it. It's just not valuable enough when compared to the other cards. I was really trying to get a 10 there, but unfortunately it just didn't pan out. But at least I have 2 pairs, so that should be decent. And both of the aces are diamonds, which will be a 1.5 times multiplier, which is actually really good. I think I can win this round, but it's going to be close. This hand is going to be rough because it's going to be hard to get close, because this hand is going to provide me next to nothing that I need. So again, I think I can hit that 22,000, but I'm going to need the right cards, definitely, once I play this pair. Unfortunately, the Joker down there, yep, it's debuffed, so it wouldn't give me the multiplier. So I fell short. Yeah. Kind of figured it was going to happen. It's alright. Hopefully this next round I'll have a better lineup of Jokers, because that one was okay, but I've had a lot better than that especially this early in the game. I've had a lot better than that lineup, so hopefully this next lineup will prove to be better. You know, one gaming franchise I really wish PlayStation would bring back and make it a kick-ass single-player experience? Infamous. Infamous on PlayStation 3 when it first dropped. You know, I'd never played anything like it. And yeah, there was Prototype out there as well. And Infamous, I kind of feel like Infamous stole Prototype's thunder, which is why it wasn't as successful as it could have been. They should have waited maybe a year to launch it just to give it some breathing room. But Infamous was really phenomenal when it dropped on PS3 back in the day. You know, and I was coming just from having been a PlayStation 2 gamer, playing PS3, all the superpowers, the scope of the city. It was just phenomenal. And I think, you know, I don't know. I don't get it with PlayStation. They're idiots. They're absolute morons. Because it's like, here you have a franchise that I legitimately know if they gave it the budget that they gave The Last of Us Part 2, and they had a truly talented studio behind it, I know, you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that it would be insanely successful. I'm talking like 5 to 10 million copies sold. I just don't get why they don't do that. It makes no sense. I mean, I know they're on this live service kick, which is a bunch of bullshit, but it just feels like they don't enjoy success, you know, and that's unfortunate. So the glass card is great until it breaks, because I think it's like a 50% chance of breaking. So if I'm low, you know, regarding the ante, because I won't have a lot of planetary cards, if any, my Joker lineup will be very sparse. That 2x multiplier is a lifesaver. Definitely needed, but again, the other side of that coin is that there's a good chance after you play the card, it's going to break. So it'll take it completely out of your deck, which it's a 7, it doesn't matter. But if sometimes I've used it for aces just because I needed a hell of a multiplier, and there are jokers that will give you a great multiplier for an ace. And I've had those in my deck, and I've used the glass card to upgrade for the ace. So it made a lot of sense, but then immediately after the ace broke. And there are ways to duplicate aces, but you need tarot cards, so you have to unlock those as well. Like I said, even when I'm not really going to be playing those hands a lot, if I get the free planet cards in my consumable area, I usually redeem them so it upgrades that level just in case I have to use it. Thank you so much to everyone who is checking this out. I do greatly appreciate it. If you're new to my channel and you're just watching this live stream for like the first time, or you're checking out my channel for the first time, I should say, definitely check out my other videos as well, and hit the like button if you are enjoying this live stream. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you do like gaming related content. It has been a little sparse over the past few months, but I had personal issues I had to deal with. So I will be ramping it up here within the next few months, back to where I used to, where I was dropping, 3 to 4 videos a month, as well as shorts and live streams. So if you enjoy that type of content, definitely subscribe to my channel. And if you're enjoying this live stream, definitely hit that like button. I really wanted to be able to play that 7 as part of a straight, but unfortunately I can't because I don't have a 5. I need more than the 5, obviously. It has to be 8, 7, 6, 5, and then 4. But I just didn't have enough to make it really work. The nice thing about the 2 pants joker up here, or spare trousers, is even if you're playing a full house, it gives you credit for 2 pairs because there's essentially 2 pairs in a full house. I am going with the Lusty Joker rather than the Celestial pack right now, just because this one upgrades all the diamonds, or this one gives a 3+ multiplier to the diamonds. This one is to all the hearts, so it's gonna help a lot faster than something like this where, I may pay for this pack and then it gives me 3 planet cards and none of them are what I need. Like one of them's a pair, one of them's a high card, and then the other one is a straight flush. And none of those are really what I'm looking for. So I'm kind of like, well, it's probably just, there's a good chance it could be money spent that I could have bought this Joker with that will absolutely 100% be effective. This is one of the best skip blind bonuses that you can get. Orbital Tag, it doesn't always upgrade 2 pair. Sometimes it'll be at random, like I've had high card, the single pair, full house. It just depends, it's randomized. But in this particular instance, it's actually hooking me up because 2 pair is the card that I'm trying to play the most. I hope all you guys that are watching this are having a really good weekend. I know things have been kind of stressful. Things have been a little crazy throughout the country. Just try not to get too stressed about stuff that doesn't necessarily directly affect you in your little town or community. Just try to let it roll off your back, essentially. Because there's so much stuff that we could get worked up about, but at the end of the day, your family, your kids, your pets, your community, that's what matters the most. And it's like, you just got to focus on that over all this other crazy stuff that's happening. Because if you start thinking about everything that's happening, it's just going to drive you crazy, So you just got to take a deep breath and just, kind of pay it no mind, take it in stride, that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, I did not get to use that 7. I really wanted to, and I think I really needed to. but I might be okay. I think we're going to see whether I am or not. Yep, I'm good. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's 7. That's a lifesaver. I need to use it, but I just couldn't get the cards in my hand to make it work. This is one of those cards that adds a multiplier for aces. This one is a really good card. It's probably underrated. It gives an 8 times multiplier. So aces, 2s, 3s, 5s, or 8s, which is phenomenal. That's definitely worth picking up if you can. Like right now I don't have the money, so I'm going to have to sell one of these. But, sell both of them. But this is much more worth having it than those cards, you know. Because it's an 8 times, or a +8 multiplier. It's not a +3 multiplier. So we get 2 free jokers, and neither one of these are really going to help me out. That figures. A lot of times when you're playing the psychic big boss, you will have like 3 of a kind, or you'll have 2 pairs and you're like, hey, you know what, I'm good, I got it, this ain't shit, and you'll play those 4 cards or 3 cards and it'll take them away and say, nope, you have to play 5 cards. I can't tell you how many times I've made that mistake on the psychic, because I get used to just playing 3 cards, 4 cards if I have a proper hand. But when it says play 5 cards, you gotta put that in your head. Hey, you know what? Even if I don't really need this card, I'm gonna put it in there just so I meet that requirement, so it doesn't completely negate the hand. This one is actually perfect because it has 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in it. And in here, 2, 3, and 5 are all 8 plus multipliers. And it's a straight flush, which is a really decent, that's a really decent number anyway. This one is great. It's phenomenal, and especially since it's holographic, because it's going to be adding a 10 plus multiplier to everything, and it's going to re-trigger all the cards that I play for the next 10 hands. So if with this spray bottle, you really want to wrap it up as soon as possible. If you can basically play no more than 2 hands, then you'll last 5 rounds. Or, yeah, it's 5 rounds, I think. Normally, I would use, I would try to, basically focus on improving the card's multiplier or whatever. But this lineup doesn't really have it, and I need the money, so obviously I'm going to prioritize the money portion first. I wasn't going to do that. I was going to leave it as a 2-pair, but each one of those 2s gets its own 8+ multiplier, so it's definitely worth leaving that extra 2 on there. Even though I'm not getting credit for one card and the other card is debuffed, again, because the multiplier is high enough, I'm not really worried about it. Now, yes, this is a negative Joker, which normally you want to pick these up. But essentially, it's only giving the extra Joker slot for itself if you think about it. And it gains 4 chips if your played card hand has exactly 4 cards. Yes, I'm playing a lot of 2 pairs, but that's not all the time. And this card just is not really worth picking up, in my opinion. Out of these 3, even though they're not my preferred cards, Saturn makes the most sense to upgrade. Ectoplasm, in my opinion, is one of the best spectral cards that you can get because it adds a negative to a random Joker rather than like the one I showed you where it adds 4. That Joker says, oh, 4 chips added every single time you play only 4 cards. That's kind of awkward. So having this where you have useful Jokers in your hand and it says, oh, I'll pick one of those and add a negative to it, that's tremendously helpful. This is kind of rough where it discards 2 random cards per hand because if you're like, well, I'm going to play these, these 4 cards or these 5 cards, and these other 2 cards are going to come into handy, unfortunately, it's going to discard 2 of the remaining cards that you have and probably screw up your plans. It doesn't do that when you discard any of these cards, but it will do that whenever you play a hand. This one is actually a great setup because I have 4 of a kind, and it's really hard to get that. Yeah, it's only level 1, but because of the multiplier that it's going to automatically get, and because of the spray bottle and the Joker with the crazy face, that it's going to add 30 chips on top of these, it will provide a pretty decent score. The Joker lineup I have is actually, I would say, almost perfect for this round. That definitely ended well, but the one thing I have to keep in mind is that that spray bottle is helping out so much, it's only going to be around for 4 more hands. So I kind of have to take that into consideration. I will keep this dice Joker around until I don't need it anymore, but sometimes whenever you're dealing with the probability cards that it'll give you a 20 times multiplier, there's like a 1 in 15 chance, it helps to have this card because it will actually improve your chances. The next one is going to be rough. All face cards are debuffed, but what that means is I'm going to have to rely heavily on 2, 3, 5, 8, and ace. because of that swirl joker up top. Especially with 70,000. Jesus. Now I'm glad I upgraded the flush. Yeah, I definitely do not see myself being able to beat this level. Just because the spray bottle only has one left and my current lineup is pretty crappy. Yeah, if I would have had Mr. Bones, I definitely would have made it, but unfortunately, I haven't unlocked him yet, so it's alright, it happens. Anyway, thank you so much to everyone who did check out this live stream. I do greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that like button. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure that you do so. I have a lot of gaming-related content on there to check out. Might enjoy it. Also, if you're a fan of shorts, like short content, I got YouTube Shorts, but I also have TikTok, so definitely check out my TikTok channel. I greatly appreciate it. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Thanks for checking out my live stream, and I'll catch you guys later.